There we go. Hi, everybody. Crazy Rock God is here from Rock Rage Radio with the guys from NVision. I'm saying it right, right?
Yes, it's NVision. Okay. Chase, get your fingers out from behind my head.
He's been doing that.
I see that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nope.
Yeah, we are NVision.
People's fingers back there. No, so like I'm excited to finally get a chance to see you guys like in person. I've played your music for a while, and we've all yapped at each other online, but never seen each other stuff.
Yes, it's nice to finally meet you.
Put a face to the craziness.
Same here, especially with this next video. We're definitely crazy.
So now with the next video, you know damn well that I'm gonna take that and do stuff to it, right? Like,
oh yeah,
take it on my YouTube and do some stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, that's fine.
Well, like, cause I try to explain to everybody, like, if I've already heard the song, I'm not gonna react to the song because I've already heard it, so it wouldn't be a true, like, real reaction.
Yeah, so like a reaction video. Okay,
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, honey. If I decide that I like a band and really want to promote you, you're going to get promoted a little bit.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate, like, especially everything you do for the music scene in general, but anytime we can get any type of help, like, we're definitely grateful for it, because it's a hard world out there.
It is. Now add a vagina to it. I'm kidding.
I don't have that kind of money on hand, but come at me in a few years and we'll see. You know, I might.
Yeah, there you go. Then you could try it that way too. It probably wouldn't work out so well. All right. So anyway, tell me a little bit about the band. This got started interestingly, didn't it?
Yeah. Most things of us generally do.
Yeah.
Me too.
We're a hard rock band from the Gulf Coast. We kind of have a very interesting start, because if you were talking to me 3 years ago, it would have just been you and me, and you wouldn't be covering me because I was rapping. So yeah. If you look at our older stuff on Spotify, it sounds like completely different than our new stuff, and we're probably one of the only rock bands out there that started as a solo rap rock EDM act.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I was in a rock band when I was in high school, and actually one of the songs that's on the new EP, me and Chase, we co-wrote most of the EP together, and he took his thoughts from it. It's about loss, and without giving away too much, the parts of the song that yeah, Chase, Nate, and then Phil Collins in the back. You might remember his work from Tarzan.
No, don't let him lie to you. Secretly, he's a stunt double for Johnny Depp on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. All those cool tricks you saw? Yeah.
He's gonna beat us up tonight. Yeah. So that song, the parts that I wrote about it, I wrote from the perspective of losing my friend. He was my bass player in the band, and he was one of my best friends, and he died tragically at 16 years old. And that was kind of the end of that band, and also, honestly, why I thought that I would never be in a band again, because I didn't want to experience that level of loss again. But I wanted to do music, and the easiest way to do music as a solo artist is, moving your mouth fast on a beat. Yeah. So that's where that started from. Nate, I kept on going like I really want a live drummer, and Nate saw my passion because I shared a stage with his and Phil's band. They were in a band together, and I shared a stage with him a couple of times, and Nate was like, hey, I'll do it, because he saw my passion. And then I saw his passion for my project, and I was like, okay, this is no longer about me, so I'm not going to be NVision. I'm going to be a part of NVision. And then we kind of put the pieces together from there. These two guys actually weren't in the original lineup at all. It was a guy named Kevin was on guitar, and we didn't have a bass player. We had a guy on we had a DJ. So it was a rock band with a drummer, a guitarist, and a DJ.
Dude, I've seen some weird stuff lately, so it doesn't surprise me.
I mean, we have the EDM elements, so like it made sense. In our first 3 videos, our first 3 music videos, it's actually, that's the lineup, is a guitar, drums, and DJ, and me. Like, and then Phil joined in with Perception, and then Chase was initially going to be our second guitarist, and we were going to be a five-piece, and then things didn't quite work out with Kevin, and now we have a
back to four.
Freaking strong lineup now, the best live show we've ever had, and our sound is going darker and heavier, and Chase screams as well, and I scream, and Nate screams, and so, you know, we're starting to incorporate more of, like, where we started as like a modern rock, we're kind of gradually leaning more towards like metalcore.
Just don't go past metalcore, and you know how hard it is to market that.
Right? Yeah. No, we still have, you know, catchy hooks is like my forte, so we're always going to have the catchy hooks, you know, and these two guys are like, Chase and Nate are like deathcore aficionados, you know, and I come more from like the 2008 Screamo, like your Under Oath, Devil Wears Prada, like those kind of guys. So when you bring us all together, it's like this clash of, we need to have the pop hooks, and then like, no, just blah everywhere. And when it all comes together, it sounds really, really good.
Nice.
I think that'll be, you know, when you hear the new EP, when that comes out in July, you'll have a very clear kind of understanding of where our direction is going. And I think, like, we chose Distress to be the lead single off of the EP because it's a perfect bridge between what's coming and what was.
Right. Cool. I dig that. So you guys are going to be part of my foreplay.
Okay.
So depending on how you guys feel about this long foreplay, short foreplay, you know. Anyway. It's okay. I turn red saying it too, but it's cool. So, like, have all of you guys been in other bands before?
Yeah, we've all been in other bands.
Yeah.
I'll go first, and then we'll go. Is this counterclockwise, or is this clockwise? This is clockwise.
That way.
Work our way around.
Yeah, we'll work our way around. We'll work our way around, just like in foreplay. Yeah, so I was in a band called Nothing Short of Everything in high school. There's still YouTube videos of young Alex acting more like a maniac than I do now, surprisingly. And that was a punk rock band. And we were also a very heavy ministry Christian-based band. So, like, we would have, like, it'd be a rock concert, and we'd have, like, altar calls and things like that. Like, it was
like
nuts.
Purposefully?
Yeah, it was cool. Like, we actually played a show in Barry, Alabama after the tornadoes ripped through them back in 2011. And we played a relief show out there, and we had, like, 100 people crying their eyes out and stuff. It was cool. But we were also like a rock band. So it was, you know, different point of my life, and I really enjoyed it.
And then you decided to get tattooed and dark.
Yeah, well, I was also 16 or 17, so, you know, I didn't get my first tattoo until I was 21, and then now I have 15.
It's
yeah,
an
so
addiction.
that's my history. And then rapping. Like, that's what I've done. Nate?
Yeah, so
he speaks.
Me and Phil, I mean, I'll let Phil talk about it too, but me and Phil was in a previous band that was very, very heavily, like, influenced by Starset, and because that's one of my favorite bands, and we
Gulf Coast Space Rock.
Gulf Coast Space Rock, yeah, there you go. And we ended up disbanding with that band. A lot of
Creative difference.
yeah,
You can just knock it down to COVID, honestly.
yeah, that too.
That happened to a lot of bands. So.
Yeah, there's a lot going on and everything else like that, and yeah, like Phil said too, creative differences is always I guess a easier way of saying it too. It was becoming very two-sided. It was like me and Phil was on our level, and then the other two was basically, I don't know what they were doing, but they didn't want to proceed any further than
no participation on that end, huh?
No.
Talk about your deathcore bands, Nate.
Oh yeah. I was in a deathcore band one time too. We were called Reign of Abaddon, and we opened up for a band called Spite, and I love those guys. They were super, super cool guys, and Distinguisher, and it was crazy because I went from being in a deathcore band to playing space rock, now to being the drummer for an emo metalcore band.
I like the emo metalcore makes me happier, so we'll go with the emo metalcore.
Pretty boy metal.
There you go. Like a boy band.
It's like us. If you haven't heard of them,
You know, I told someone. I walked up to the guys from Varsity the very first time I saw them play and said, they are the nicest guys. But I was like, you're like a boy band, but metal.
Yeah, really.
And they were like, yeah, that was what we were going for. I'm like, good.
Joey's beautiful.
oh yeah, man.
Joey's beautiful.
Oh,
you
God.
could also,
The voice on that man. Mm.
I'll send you a link. You should check out this band called After Dusk. They're from Mobile, Alabama, right around the corner from us. I saw them open up for The Devil Wears Prada, and they're good friends of ours, and they're also pretty boy metal, and they're
Send them my way. Tell them to send me music. You know me. I'll get them out there. I'll get them out there.
Phil.
Phil, you gotta talk. You gotta speak up too, Phil.
Speak up loud, Phil. Say it with your chest.
He's very soft spoken.
Yeah, for the most part. Well, I mean, the only one band I've been was, like Nate just pointed out, was Listen and Jabru.
Just put the mic where I am and we're good.
Yeah,
It won't be
speaking
loud
loud
enough.
Oh, it's just one band. You know, just was going on for a little while. But as Nate pointed out, it was just we all had great differences, and just we worked its course. Like you were saying, I also felt like it was just karaoke band. We wanted more, so here we are. Met Alex that way too, so I mean, it was a nice circle. Not you, bud.
And at one point in time, we've all four of us have shared the stage at one point in time in different bands.
No, I've never shared the stage with Chase.
Oh, you didn't?
Nope.
Oh, well, we
never
did.
Played, to this day, I haven't played with. Chase, you want to tell us who you came from?
My first band was actually tattooed on me. Teratoma. It's a little deathcore. It's kind of like Manson meets Slipknot meets Square, and just a
Meets
smidgen
Square?
close.
Yeah.
In terms of theatrics.
Yeah,
Music.
there's a little ghost in there.
It was It was we all wore like hooded robes. We basically looked like the KKK, but satanic. So all
in
black,
Alabama.
all weird, and it was interesting, and I was the front man of that band. I started off as a guitar player, then things didn't work out with our original front man, and my drummer was like, "Hey, you can scream, right? Do it." I'm like, "All right, cool." And so and then that's all my previous work up until NVision.
Yeah, you know how there's like a distinct difference between like deathcore screaming and metalcore screaming?
Mm-hmm.
So if you listen closely on the EP, you'll be able to tell, like, there's parts he screams and there's parts that I screams, and there's like a very distinct difference. It's pretty cool.
It's very.
I always like to say the difference is between deathcore and metalcore. Metalcore, you can understand the words.
And with deathcore.
Well, I mean, like
Not
to
so
be
much.
Fair,
To be fair.
to be fair,
Sorry.
we definitely don't have too much deathcore influence. It's just you'll be able to understand what I'm saying whenever I scream.
Yeah,
Good.
we just scream in different styles, because there's different ways of projecting and stuff. And
Enunciate.
yeah.
Well, and that's a big part of it. Is it's well, because otherwise that's all it sounds like. It's and you're like, what'd you say?
Right. Yeah.
It'd be a good alarm.
So that's
So.
Wake up to that.
Is it hard to go from like singing to screaming though?
not for me, and I don't think Chase either. Because the way that I scream is actually singing with an exceptional amount of force. So like I'll find a note, and I already have like a nice raspy tone in my singing to begin with. So all I do is just force that a little bit higher, and then I'm going from singing to screaming, so I can switch back. And actually, in some of our songs in the new EP, I'm actually going from singing softly to screaming to falsetto to like nuts.
But are you doing that live? Can you do it live?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's always the big question.
Well, and that's my big thing is, like, anybody can do something recorded. Can you do it live?
True.
Yeah.
Disappointed by a lot of bands for that.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I mean there are like some things that I'll backtrack to help out, like harmony vocals, things like that. And then like, you know, if there's a part where it's me singing two parts that are kind of interlapping or whatever, like I'll backtrack one of them. But I mean, like as far as like can I perform the way I did in the studio, you know, not obviously 100% perfect. Nobody can, except maybe Freddie Mercury.
But, yeah, that. But he was
and
special.
You know, like there's very few that can do exactly what they did in the studio live. But yes, I can go from singing to falsetto to screaming to low to high, and that comes from a lot of my vocal background is actually it's choir, and then I was also trained in my vocal lessons I took in high school was actually in spirituals. So
cool.
like a lot of the kind of raspiness.
I was gonna say, I'm sure they like the screaming there.
I didn't scream back then. I actually I've only been screaming for a year and a half. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever Nate first joined, I wasn't screaming, and that's why a lot of our early music doesn't have screaming in it. It's because I was learning how to.
Well, and that's the trick, is to make sure that you take care of this. Just like any other instrument. Oh, no. Where did you guys go? There you are. That was weird.
I'm right here.
Oh, no. The whole screen just went... Bloop. Whatever.
We're back. We're here?
You're back. You're good. Me and technology are not friends today. All right. So do you guys got plans to tour or do anything cool like that? Any shows coming up?
Touring, no, because it's way too expensive and nobody wants to pay you anything. So, I mean, it's just, that's the reality. We have gone everywhere from Oklahoma City all the way to Tampa, Florida, Savannah, Georgia, Corpus Christi, Texas. And it's just, you know, you work with a lot of promoters that don't promote. Promoters
I know that feeling.
Right, and then, you know, they'll be like, oh, we'll just, you know, they only want to do a door deal, or they don't, you know, don't even want to help cover gas, basically, and it's like, we're not about that. I know there's plenty of bands that are. We're focusing on our region right now and creating a strong base in that region as far as, like, who will show up so that we can get our guarantees up, because, you know, people are going to, if you fill the place with 1,000 people, then they're going to pay whatever. They don't give a crap. And that's kind of our attack plan, is setting locally. We have, like, 6 or 7 shows on the books between June and August, among several different regions. Starting to work on our fall, but a lot of our work is just going to be online, just because it doesn't take a tank of gas to fill it up. That was my phone. Sorry.
What?
Yeah, R2D2 is my ringtone on my phone.
That was funny.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it doesn't take 6 tanks of gas to put up a music video.
True. And it's always good to make sure that you have a good base to start with anyway, and don't overplay your region either, so.
Right, yeah. And a large majority of our fan base is not from here. You know, like it's like we have a fan base in, like, Pennsylvania, and then there's like Oklahoma, and, you know, like, it's to tour everywhere where we could actually, like, fill up places. Like, it'd be like driving 18 hours per city.
I know that feeling.
So until we can connect the dots, you know, get on, like, Kingdom Collapse level, you know, I think we're we're kind of good right now.
Yeah, but Kingdom Collapse went out and toured their asses off, so.
They did.
We'll see how they do on their own now, though. It'll be interesting to see how they do as a headliner.
They're doing great right now. I'm proud of them.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it's funny because when I saw them, I was like, you know, I remember when you guys, nobody knew who you were. And now look at you.
Yeah, we met them, well, I met them right before they took off. Nate met them.
Me and Phil's previous band played with them their first show outside of Texas, which was here in Mississippi. And they were awesome guys, and I became friends with Jonathan right away, and same thing, I talk to him every so often and stuff like that, but I mean, he's always super responsive and everything.
Yeah, I became, like, online friends with Jonathan in like 2020, and then like literally
I was
right
going to say, I
before.
think I've been online friends with them the whole time.
Yeah, you know them, I'm sure, since day one. I kind of joined up in that little group through Nate, and kind of like met him in person, like literally right before they hit
This
number
last
1 on
tour?
Octane. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how the difference for you guys? Do you find it more special to get more airplay in more places, or one specific place?
Repeat the question.
More airplay in more places, or airplay in one place.
It depends on.
In like specific places that everybody likes to brag about.
Right. I mean, obviously, like, you know, if we hit number 1 on Octane or got an Octane, like, we'd be stoked about that, because, you know, it's just like anything else, you know, like, I can play in my local bar, and that's cool, but then I play on CPR Fest and open for Three Doors Down, like, I'm going to be a little bit more excited about that, but I still love both of them. Like, even CPR Fest, like, we played that, open for Three Doors Down, Seether, and all those guys, you know, sold out of all of our merch and had the most amazing experience that we have ever had. And then
I wanted to go to that one.
I wish you could. It was awesome.
It was amazing.
But then we turned around that night and played at a dive bar the same day. You know, so I mean, like, let's say this EP takes off and by some miracle we end up on Octane and we start climbing the ranks and all that shit. Like, we're obviously going to be stoked about that, but we're still stoked about being on the Rock Goddess, being on the Sound, because at the end of the day, you know, even though all of those have a smaller scale of, like, audience, you know what I mean? Like, they're just as important, because it's like, yeah, it's like home, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Am I making sense?
I get you. You're good. Yeah. You're good.
So,
Home base. Can't forget where you came from.
No. Stay home.
Well, I hope not.
yeah.
It's always nice when it is funny, because there's a lot of bands that are like bigger touring bands now that they're like, "Hi, how are you?" And I met them in like 2016, and I'm like, "Look at you now."
Right. Was Any Given Sin one of them?
Any Given Sin, I've never actually met, but I've been playing them for a long time. Bad Flower's one of them.
Those guys
Dead.
are awesome.
Really cool.
Dead. From Ashes to New, I've known those guys since I started in radio.
I don't know those guys, so that's cool.
They're super nice. No, they're super nice.
They seem like very genuine people.
Yeah, no, they give me shit all the time. Like, we remember when we used to like beg you to play us, and I'm like, yeah, I remember that too.
So I guess, like, to answer your Senate, like, more places is great. We love anybody that helps us out, and I think these guys, I can speak for all of us when I say that we intend on being that same way, no matter how big we get. Like, obviously, if we're being played at over 250 stations or something like that, it's going to be hard to, like, keep track of every single one.
Yeah.
You know, but we will always be grateful for anybody, whether it's a station that starts tomorrow or a station that's been around since radio started. You know,
yeah.
For both of those people, like, we're grateful. For anyone that reaches out to us and is like, hey, you want to come and talk to us? Like, we're down, you know.
Right on.
That's just who we are. It's always who we've been, and I don't see that changing regardless of how big we get.
So the new release you guys are putting out, are you putting it out on your own? Who's helping you? Or are you getting any help? Or are you just doing this by yourself?
We are managed by Radford Media Group. They're based out of California. It's headed by Jason Radford from One Side Zero. And our distribution is handled by Tragic Hero Records and sent through Warner. We're not signed to them, but they do, like, push our music
distribution
out.
deals, yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. Cool. So you'll get a good running head start at it then.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, Fake Friends got on a Apple editorial playlist, and it wasn't even, because we had that was our first release with them, so it wasn't even linked to our profiles. We had to go through all the metadata and fix all that stuff. So even as a brand new artist, just being released through Warner, it landed on an editorial playlist on Apple. Like, first day.
Nice.
So that was cool because I didn't even submit to that.
Well, that's good. Well, because you need the more people you can get in your corner, the better off you are. You know what I mean? Like the more people that are out there, like, hey, we're going to help push you, the better off you are.
Exactly. Sure. That goes back to the last question, like.
Yeah.
The more people that we know, like, we're happy.
It's always helpful.
Right.
Those guys are super quiet back there. Why are you guys so quiet?
Say something.
All right.
There you go.
I'm just naturally quiet, dude.
Well, Phil, what's your line?
Super cool.
All right. Listen, I'm going to let you guys off of here, and I appreciate you greatly.